5 wide as they work their way through the chicane for the first time. There was some locking up. The number 10 trying to find its way around the outside of Claudio Remeggio Capelli. That was Alessandro Bellini from row 3 of the grid, managed to sneak up from 6th to 2nd. He manages to get just ahead of Rosario Messina in 3rd place, side by side between them for 2nd position, but Claudio Remeggio Capelli from pole position on the long run down to the first corner. He's managed to survive it in the lead. And look at Alberto Nasca. He's already there up into, I make that 5th position. Yes, he is in 5th position. So Alberto Nasca with a very good start. From the very back of the grid, he has already worked his way halfway through the pack. Nasca and pretty much everyone on the grid a contender for race victory in this early stage. And Claudio Remeggio Capelli, he's stalled his momentum there with that huge sideways moment. It's side by side for 3rd place, but we've got a change of lead. Alessandro Bellini goes to the front of the order. It's side by side for 3rd position. Rosario Messina in the number 8 car is there in 3rd place. It's side by side for 4th position as Alberto Nasca just about sneaks his way into P4. I think just getting past Davide Gaglianesi there, I believe that was. And 4 cars in a scrum as they head towards turns 20 and 21 at the conclusion of this first lap. Rather miraculously, it is still Claudio Remeggio Capelli in the lead at the end of the first lap. Just about every other position has been up for debate, but Capelli is your leader because he's managed to get his way back past Alessandro Bellini. Bellini then in 2nd place, Nasca in his tow, and look at just how effective the slipstream is in these rather aerodynamically inefficient machines. 3 wide for 2nd place, sneaking up into 2nd then is Rosario Messina. Nasca and Bellini side by side for 3rd place. Nasca getting the power down better there, and just about sneaks his car clear. But they'll still be side by side, I think, when they get to the next braking zone. I think Nasca is just about far enough ahead. Yes, he is, to keep hold of that position. The 99 goes diving. Simone Giussani. Giussani. Oh, late on the brakes there into turn 10. That was a little bit heart in mouth for the driver of the 99. Certainly was heart in mouth for me, so can't imagine what it was like from the cockpit. There goes Alberto Nasca. Finds his way back past Messina once again then. So Nasca from 11th to 2nd in 1.5 laps. That'll do nicely. Can he now close in on Claudio Remeggio Capelli? Both drivers, of course, in the Euro NASCAR 2 category in addition to EuroLEGEND Cup, and certainly Nasca the upper hand among the 2 of them in Euro NASCAR, but does that apply to EuroLegends? Meanwhile, all sorts of out of shape there was Simone Giussani in the back of shot in the number 99. He'll have scrubbed off some speed and may well fall away from the pack as a result of that. The top 3, though, launching their attempt at a getaway drive here, aren't they? Alessandro Bellini in 4th place in the Bruni Guns entry has fallen away a little bit. Then there's another gap back to the 5th place car of Davide Gaglianesi. Side by side between Gaglianesi and the 39 of Maselli, but Maselli backs out of it. Giussani tries to go around the outside. Who is that cutting the first chicane? That is Claudio Remeggio Capelli. So Capelli outbrakes himself into the first chicane, but he's managed to still come out in the lead. Because these Legend cars are so nimble, I'm not sure they actually lose any time doing the slalom instead of the full chicane. Capelli remains in the race lead then. It was just 0.2 of a second between them across the line as well, so Capelli with the shortcut there is kind of worked for him. Just approaching 1/3 distance then in this EuroLegend Cup race. It looks as though Gaglianesi is starting to work his way through. The number 12 was right there on the back of the number 10. So Bellini in 4th place under pressure from Gaglianesi. So we get a replay now of Claudio Remeggio Capelli's slalom. Very well executed. Through into fourth place has gone Bellini in the number 12. So he's got, Gaglianesi in the number 12 has got through into fourth position. So Gaglianesi gets past Bellini in the 10. Meanwhile, Alberto Nasca is going to be looking for his way through. He's got the slipstream advantage over Claudio Remeggio Capelli, who goes ultra defensive. Lets him know that he's going to have to go around the outside, but of course at the chicane the outside will become the inside for the second apex, so I don't know if this is going to work in Claudio Remeggio Capelli's favour. Both of them late on the brakes. Nasca though a little bit later, I think, on that pedal, and he gets his way into the lead. So Alberto Nasca has completed the last to first challenge. Oh, and just off track there a little bit there. Claudio Remeggio Capelli dipping a wheel just beyond the curb on the inside, and he did well to keep that together. Can Capelli mount a comeback up against Alberto Nasca? We've definitely seen these two wheel-to-wheel in EuroNASCAR. We've certainly seen them wheel-to-wheel in EuroLEGEND Cup a couple of times, even just at Vallelunga last time out. Both drivers with a bit of history racing legends. Both drivers mercifully with a bit of a break before the EuroNASCAR 2 race later on, so they won't be too hot and bothered when they hop into the big stock car later on. But for now they've got 7 minutes and 40 seconds of racing. They've got a bit of a gap between themselves and the chasing pack. I think we're going to have a proper scrap for the lead here. It's also getting very close in the battle for fourth position. Just saw that in the back of shots, that Gaglianesi, Giussani, Maselli, Bellini, all very much close quarters in fourth place. Capelli there getting very, very loose all the way around the corner. He drifts around. Amazing stuff. There's the scrap for fourth place, which is now being led by the 99 of Giussani. So Giussani is now ahead of Gaglianesi. Maselli is behind both of them. They will now, of course, with the slipstream, fan out into a three-wide predicament. Maselli not quite getting involved to that extent. We've had a change for the lead as well, because Alberto Nasca has gotten... Oh, sorry, no, my apologies. He was in the lead already. Getting way ahead of myself. My apologies. Alberto Nasca remains in the race lead, but the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place battle is very, very close indeed. Verdi in the number 3 is in 8th too. Side by side and through again into 4th place goes the 99 of Giussani. So Gaglianesi had 4th place momentarily, but he loses out. Maselli in the 39 is there in 6th place. Bellini in the 10 is in 7th. Just behind them in 8th place is Verdi. Natura in 9th place, the other Verdi, the number 61. We have got two Verdis on the grid, Luca and Fabiano. So Fabiano is being beaten by Luca at the moment in the battle of the Verdis. And at the back of the pack, it is Claude Vattier. Close quarters then for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th places, but for now it is Giussani who has control of the scrap. Equally, Alberto Nasca still exhibiting control over the race lead as we approach 2/3 distance in this 15-minute race. We started the day in wet conditions, and remarkably, that means that the lap times we're now setting 1:54s. Claudio Remeggio Capelli just set a 1:54.456 in the toe of Alberto Nasca. Remarkably, these lap times are actually quicker than the EuroNASCAR Pro qualifying pole position from earlier on, because it was still very much mixed conditions in EuroNASCAR Pro quali earlier. And it was very wet during the EuroLEGEND Cup qualifying. Claudio Remeggio Capelli excelled in the wet conditions. Alberto Nasca has managed to get his way from 11th place to first. Last on the grid to first in the race with 4 minutes and 38 seconds left to go. But Claudio Remigio Capelli is yet to let him break the slipstream. And look how much deeper he is on the braking into turn 10. Supreme confidence that he was going to get that car stopped. He was having to turn and brake at the same time, which is a delicate art. I'd be unsurprised to know that there are not driving aids really to speak of in these little EuroLEGEND cars. That was all skill and a deft left foot. Assuming he left foot brakes, which may be a slightly bold assumption, I'm not quite sure. These are effectively big go-karts, and in a go-kart you have to left foot brake, but I imagine there is at least a few right foot brakers on the grid here. Claudio Remigio Capelli just losing it a little bit there, lost a bit of momentum to NASCAR, but will still be close enough to reap the benefits of a tow down the main straight. And that's really the problem for NASCAR. I think overall across the lap he's a lot quicker, but he's not quick enough to completely eradicate the threat from Capelli behind, although this time it's quite a sizable gap between them across the line. It was 0.3 of a second at the last split. It's now 1.1 seconds. You saw Capelli there getting loose through the final corners of the lap, and that's really cost him. The gap will have gone down nonetheless. It's clear that even at over a second, there's a fair tow from these rather stocky body shapes. Of course, the Legend cars fashioned after 1930s American hot rods, albeit with motorcycle engines. And a bit late on the brakes there was Giussani in the 99. Gets a nice run out of the corner though. Side-by-side action between the two of them. He gets into third place, so Messina dropping a position there. Giussani up into third place. This battle is some 5 seconds off the race lead. Who will get the last step of the podium then? This is going to become a four-way scrap because both Gaglianese and Massini are right there with them. And for Simone Giussani, I think he's going to have to make quite a wide car. This is the penultimate lap of the race. They will be starting the final lap this time by. Like the door may have been left open, an iota there. Yes, it was. And Simone Giussani there getting extremely loose at turn 20. He drops from third to fifth as a result of that, and the four-car scrum now heads across the line, all in unison. 3 wide as they go down the main straight. Who's going to be bravest on the brakes? Is it even going to be 4 wide? Not quite. But it is the number 99 that manages to get back through into third position. Giussani absolutely not letting sleeping dogs lie. And after a mistake at the penultimate corner, by the time he got to turn 1, he was right back there in third place. The ebb and flow of a Legends race is very exciting. I dare say this is going to be a drag race to the line. I think we're going to get the odd photo finish here in this battle, potentially even in the lead battle if Capelli can close in on NASCAR. But to be honest, the gap is 1.6 seconds now at the head of the field, so I think Alberto NASCAR has done enough at this stage. He just needs to get the car home. Rather less comfortable, though, is Giussani in the 99. Simone Giussani will be driving through the mirrors at this point. Later on the brakes there, Davide Gaglianese, and not an optimal line there through the switchbacks for Simone Giussani. He's scrubbed off a lot of speed there, so that might be a potential mistake there. As this is happening, of course, Alberto NASCAR will be heading towards the finish straight for the final time. side by side for 5th place. As Maselli tries to hang it around the outside, or Messina, sorry, tries to take it to the inside of Maselli, but I believe this is a replay, but the race is ending, so we need to see live pictures. And just getting across the line for 3rd there is Simone Giussani, but the winner will be Alberto Nasca. He crossed the line 2.6 seconds clear. The race seems to still be going, though. The clock has already hit 0. In fact, I think our time on screen was a little bit ahead of the actual race clock. My apologies for that. So the clock has just hit 0 on the timing screen. Our time on screen was a little bit ahead. So this is now the final lap. I was going off the screen in front of us all. But the number 8 car losing out there to 5th place. So Maselli getting through into 5th. Messina down to 6th place. That is surely going to swap a good 2 or 3 times before this race concludes at the end of this lap. Giussani and Gaglianesi 3rd and 4th position. That battle also very much up for debate. Better momentum there for Messina in 6th place. He might get through into 5th before they get to the next turn. Meanwhile, Giussani is really putting up a lion's defence here, but once again, he drifts a bit too wide going under the Orland Bridge. And the 2-car battles have now joined into one 4-car scrap for the podium. I reckon that's going to be a drag race to the line. Alberto Nasca, 3.4 seconds clear of Capelli. He comes around the final turn now, as you can see. Oh, Remigio Capelli there, exploring the outer limits of the circuit. Who's going to come into shot in 3rd place? It's going to be Giussani. Alberto Nasca is crossing the line now to take the win. But the battle for 3rd place is going to go in favour of Giussani, I think. Not quite able to get through there, Gaglianesi. Alberto Nasca then claims the race win. Nasca takes the victory. Claudio Remigio Capelli takes 2nd place. 3rd position for Giussani. 4th place for Gaglianesi. 5th place for Maselli. So it's a win for Alberto Nasca. I think that may well leapfrog him into the championship lead at the conclusion of this race. Claudio Remigio Capelli taking P2. In 3rd place, the number 99 of Simone Giussani. He will take the 3rd step of the podium. Well-earned podium that for Giussani. The number 12, that's being Davide Gaglianesi, taking 4th place, which ironically is where he qualified. I think just about the only driver to stay put in that regard. Luigi Maselli, who started on the front row, could only manage 5th at the end of the race. He'll be a little bit disappointed with that. The number 10 in 6th position, that is Alessandro Bellini. Alessandro Bellini taking 6th place. 7th place for car number 8. Car number 8 being Rosario Messina, driver who started in the 2nd row. I'm not sure he'll be happy with 7th place. The number 3 car in 8th position, that's Luca Verdi. So Luca Verdi taking 8th place. He finished just ahead of Michele Matura in the number 50. As we get a look at some of the highlights of this race. As you see, it started out with 3, 4, 5, almost 6 wide into the first corner. These cars are very, very small, and the Autodrom Most main straight is fairly wide. And that's one of the more interesting points of the race, isn't it? Claudio Remigio Capelli, I think if he'd won that race, Alberto Nasca would have had something to say about him using the chicane, or cutting the chicane in that manner, but it proved not to matter because Alberto Nasca, who started all the way down in 11th place, would soon work his way into a race lead that he would not lose. This was the definitive move around the outside of Capelli, a little bit braver and later on the brakes. And that would grant Alberto Nasca all the permissions he needed to move his way up the order. It was 3 wide. maybe even 4 wide at various points in the battle for third position as Alberto Nasca continued to drive away at the sharp end of the order. The story of the race very much was that battle for third place, but Alberto Nasca took the victory. Just to tell you about the rest of the finishing order, in 10th place I got to 9th place, so let's talk about the rest of the order. 10th position was Claude Vatien. And just to give the last place a shout out, that was the number 61 car. That was Fabiano Verdi at the back of the order. So another victory then for Alberto Nasca in EuroLEGEND Cup. With that victory, I believe he takes the championship lead as well. So Alberto Nasca will have lots to be happy about going into Sunday, when there will be 2 more races in the EuroLEGEND Cup. Race 2 broadcasted by myself, and Race 3 you'll have a special guest commentator from the European Truck Racing Championship. It will be Chaz Draycott bringing you the 3rd and final race of the weekend for EuroLEGEND Cup. Lots more racing to come from Most across the categories, including EuroLEGEND, Euro NASCAR and the European Truck Racing Championship. It's a busy weekend here in the Czech Republic. Congratulations to Alberto Nasca, our winner.
Não é uma pausa.